So hello friends, in this video we are going to understand how we can fetch data in Qwik.js, right? And how we can display that data into our component. Okay, so to do this, what I really have to do is simple. I have to use two hooks, right? So one is use reduces, and the another one is resource. Okay, so we have to use these two to make an API request to a server and display that data into our component. Okay, as the file structure, I just want to show you that I had created a product folder, right? And within this, I have an index.txt file, right? And then after I had created a component. So if you just going to remove this, for example, for now I am just going to comment all this, right? So if I just going to comment all this, what you will have left is just the component, right? So now we only have our blank component, right? So like this. So now what we have is we had created a component and we had finally exported, right? As you can see, I had defined a data type. So the data type is we have an object, and here the first key is our name and the second one is price. So the name is a string and the price is a number. Okay, so why I had defined this data type? Let's come to our server and let's understand why it is so. Okay, so if I had just created a fake API, right? So to get the data, so if you just visit for now localhost 4000 and this product section, you will have all this data which is coming from the server, right? So if you want to just limit this data to a certain number, for example, like I am just willing to limit it up to 10 results. Okay, so now we have only 10 results, or the first 10 results, right? So I am just willing to use this API to make the call and get the data, right? Okay, now the next point is to make the API request. We have to use one hook which is what we call use resources, right? So by using this use resources, I have to create a variable in which all of the data which is fetched by the use of user resource is being saved. Okay, so for example, here it is PR title. So let's for example, here we just create a product, right? So instead of the PR title, I am willing to name it like product, right? PRODUCTS products, right? And you have to just use this use resource, right? So use resource is just like a function you can call a function, right? And in this function you just have to call an anonymous function, right? A callback function, right? So here is a callback function. Whenever you call this callback function will trigger, and within this callback function we just write our code to fetch the data, right? So this is our code, and as you can see, it is not different anywhere, right? So just because I am waiting, I'm using this await keyword, so that means I want to make an async request. Okay, so to make that async request, I have to use this keyword like async, sync, right? Sync, right? So async, so I made an async function, and while making this async function, I am trying to get the response, and whatever the response I am getting by this fetch keyword, by using this fetch function, is going to store in this response. Okay, so finally, as all of you know, that the response should be converted to the JSON format. Okay, so to do that, I just enter this like data is equals to await and response.json. Okay, so now we have the data, whatever the data is being coming from the server, which we had received from the server, we just want to return it, right? So to return, I just have to use the keyword return data, right? Sorry, it's return data, and now we have our data stored in our product section, in our product variable, right? So this is all what we have to do for getting the data. Okay, so now the next step is where should we use this data type? Okay, so we want to use this data type just to make sure, just to give an indication to our server that okay, the output should be data type. Okay, the output should be in this format, where we have where we have array of objects, right? So this big brackets represents the array, and this is what we known as our object. Okay, so we just want to specify that this is an array of object, so we use this data type here as, and we indicate that okay, our output should be in this format, right? And finally we have to use this product in our component, right? So now the second parameter comes into play, right? This is our this is our resource, right, which we had imported from our builder.io/query, right? So to use this, so it's so this resource is just like a regular component. Okay, so for example, you have to just assume that you are willing to, so here you are going to um, render some component, right? Or random some so you had imported some component from some other library and you are just willing to use that, right? So now we have three parameters, right? First one is value, right? Second one is on pending, and third one is on resolve, right? So what this value represents for which API request or for which use resource this resource block should be triggered. Okay, so I just want to mention that for this product variable, okay, for this product variable, this resource should be handling or responsible for. Okay, so here we have the second parameter that we have that on pending. So what does this track on pending? If that request is not completed, okay, so if this promise is not resolved, so here basically it creates a promise. So if this promise is not resolved, okay, and it's in pending state, then what should do? Okay, so in that case, if it is pending, I just want to make sure that it would give me an HTML which give me loading, right? Which give me text like so. Okay, sorry, just I want to remove this, and here we have h1 tag, and in this h1 tag I just want to show loading, LODING, loading, right? So if it is in pending state, I would like to display a loading tag, right? And the last one is what should we do if our promise get resolved, right? What should we do if our promise get resolved? There we can also use one more, right? So we can also use on reject. What should we display if there is some error, right? So you can also do this like ERR error, and if there is an error, you can simply console.log, or you can simply display the error, right? So like so, if I am just going to copy this, and instead of doing anything else, I am just willing to show that okay, if our request get rejected for any reason, I just want to show this error. Okay, and if it is resolved, I want to show, for example, right now I just want to show okay, this is right data right? So this way you can you make use of resource and this use resources, right? So now just go to our server and check like where should we go for this. We have to go to our product routes. Okay, so let's go to our port, that is localhost 5173, right? And here we should move to our routes our products route, right? So BRO DUCT, right? And where we have, right? So as you can see, this is the right data, right? That means that our promise get resolved and now we have our data, right? But let's see, do we also get these responses like loading and error? Well, to see this, I think I have to switch to our network. I have to go to our network and try to make it a little slow. So I'm just going to make it slow 3G, and even though if I had selected a through slow 3G, it take it the data so instantly that it doesn't show me like that loading tag. Okay, great. No, not an issue, right? So let's try to display this. Okay, so to make this, I just have to create some error, right? So let's create some error, and if I just enter here, okay, so I'm getting this resolved. Okay, so because we don't throw any so this is an async request, right? So to make an async request, to track an async request, I should use an try and catch block, right? So let's use a try and catch block, and in this try and catch block I should go with like with this format, and I should create a new error, like so now I have to throw a new error, right? So I should use this syntax, and that is great. So if it is not get resolved, then it should give me an error, right? So if I just refresh this, and if I'm getting this data, then the data should be in this format, of like in this format. So what should be the format? The format should be like this: an array of object, and each object have two parameters, that is price, name and price, right? Okay, so now I have to just display this data, right? So now we have this data, and we understand that after resolving we get into this block. So this is the right data, right? So instead of just display and just displaying this one data, I just want to display all of my data, right? So to display all the data, I have to use data.map, and I just want to mention, okay, each object has an EL, and I just want to target the name, right? So el.name, and instead of using this h1 tag outside of this bracket, I am just going to use it like so, and instead of that text, I am just going to remove this text with my this el.name, right? And now as you can see here, we have this error. So why it is so? Because somewhere it doesn't know the data type, right? So the type element is missing from the properties like JSON, string, function, and this. So basically this is why this is what you are getting, because of we doesn't specify the type just here after the resolve. So now if we just move to our section, our product routes, you can see that all of our names is now being printed in a row, right? So one by one, so we have the first name, second name, last name, third name, fourth name, fifth name, and up to 10, right? So all of this data is coming from this API, right? As you can see, the name is, last name is white whinging dove, right? So here is our white, last name is this. Okay, so now as you can see that we have successfully fetched our data and display into our component. Okay, so to make this so why we are getting this error? Because we have to define its type. So now I'm just left it up to you, so how you can define the type and resolve this error. Okay, so for now I think this is enough for this video, and we will meet you in our next video. So till now, have a nice day and goodbye.